Hey everyone, welcome to the Lo-Fi Lounging Podcast, where we actually have a name for the podcast because I didn't say it in the first episode, but now we actually do. So for each week or so, or maybe every other week, we kind of invite a guest over to kind of have a little bit of casual conversation, play some chill beats, and put in post-processing, and kind of just talk about whatever. So kind of this week, I actually have a VTuber from Indonesia who I've kind of been following for quite some time. His name is KATSUki D. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I am KATSUKI D. I am a VTuber from Indonesia, like you just said. Yeah.
Nice. And then, what's it called? I kind of wanted to. Now, I'm kind of into the fandom, or I don't know if it's even a fandom. Maybe it's just a niche on YouTube and Twitch. But would you kind of want to talk a little bit about what VTubers are, for those that don't know?
Alright, so VTubers are essentially virtual YouTubers or streamers, I guess. So we all live in a different world than you guys, and we make content on YouTube and Twitch or any other service, I guess. Yeah.
And then, where do you feel like most of, I guess, like VTuber popularity, like as far as like regions in the world, like where do you see most of it being popular?
Oh, it's definitely like really popular in Asia, especially in where I'm at, Indonesia. It's really popular. Like we've recently gotten two major VTuber agencies to open offices here, so they have a branch in Indonesia, and there's a lot of indie VTubers here, and especially in Singapore, Malaysia, and I've been following a bunch from the US also.
Like it's kind of like, I guess, because like, was Kizuna Ai like the very first one? She was, right? Or am I like, or was she,
Yeah.
or was she like just the most popular one?
She might be like the most popular or the first one to actually go mainstream. I don't know if she's actually the first VTuber, but she's definitely the first to go mainstream.
Because I'm assuming Hololive and Niji Sanji and them like started after the introduction of Kizuna Ai, right?
Oh yeah.
Like I don't think they. Gotcha. Okay, like that's because I think the one interesting thing that I've seen is just because for a long time the only one that I really knew of was just Kizuna Ai, and I kind of was getting into the videos, but then afterwards I kind of stopped. I kind of like had a drop off point where I kind of was interested in other things, and then I guess because of YouTube's algorithm, it kind of got back into my recommended, but instead it recommended like different VTubers, and then you just kind of go down this huge rabbit hole of like, oh, who's this person, who's this person, who's this person, like, oh my gosh, like why are they like, who are these collabs, and like who are these like 50 anime boys and girls and devils and creatures and whatever people streaming Minecraft and they look like a demon, like what are these people? I don't know if that was the experience for you and the kind of VTubers that you enjoy watching, if that was just something that you kind of went all into at once, or over time you kind of gradually got into it.
I think I watched Kizuna Ai from the very beginning, and I was really interested in how she's a really good creator, I think. So she's like my role model sort of. So afterwards I didn't really watch any VTubers. I enjoy mostly esports, to be honest, so I don't really watch VTubers, but like I decided to become one, I guess.
What, and just as an off topic, like what is your favorite esport to watch?
Oh, I love CSGO and Rainbow Six Siege.
Yes, I can imagine that. I'm just one of those people that like I kind of come from the world of MOBAs, so
Oh.
I'm forever scarred by just League and just watching gameplay of League of like 5v5 like all at once, and just the crowd roaring, and then hundreds of dollars being awarded to people who are clearly better at gaming than I may ever be. But that's totally fine. Who are some of your favorites as far as like VTubers?
Well, yeah, Kizuna Ai, obviously, and I really like Kaguya Luna. I like all the OG people, so Kizuna Ai, Kaguya Luna, and I'm also a fan of Seto Miyako from Niji Sanji Japan. And
Oh, gotcha.
I also really like a lot of the new Nijisanji Indonesia people.
Yeah, because I think one of my new favorites is Hanamakia,
Oh
but
yeah,
I think it's
definitely.
mostly just because like she does a lot of stuff in English,
Mm.
and also her father's kind of cool. So like I kind of come for those streams just because he seems very chill with his daughter being a VTuber. So I'm on board with that train and her playing Doom. So you know. In this world, you either play Doom or Animal Crossing during this whole quarantine. So it's one or the other, or you get really good at Apex because apparently people are getting really good at Apex these days.
I don't really like
What's it
Apex.
called?
Yeah.
Do you not really? Yeah, because
Yeah, I
I've
don't.
seen some people where I guess coming off of like Fortnite and PUBG and all those other games, I guess a lot of people have enjoyed Apex a little bit
Mm.
better, but I don't remember the specific reasons. I think they mentioned something about like I just remember people talking about Pathfinder, but that's about it. But what don't you like about that game?
I actually think it's a really good game, but I don't like the direction that the developers are going with it. So
Oh,
I did enjoy playing it. So and I probably still do. I just don't play it as often.
oh, so it's not like on your list of like stuff that you would stream. It's mostly just like Rainbow Six Siege and like those are the kind of FPS stuff that you would get into.
Yeah.
And then, uh, is it? Sorry, I'm trying to get my words together. But as far as what you see that gets favorited, like, what are the kinds of VTubers from your perspective as one who are the ones that get the most quote unquote popular? Like, what seems to resonate well with, I guess, the broad populace rather than like just a niche genre of like, oh, I just really like this character versus a character, like I said, like Kizuna Ai, who can appeal to a broad spectrum of people.
I think like mostly the type of content that you do. Like Kizunai does a lot of variety content. So she does skits. She like watches memes. She plays like random video games, and like you gotta make people relate to you. So when I remember like Hana playing Doom Eternal on launch, it just got everyone onto her channel because she was the only one playing that game. Everyone else was playing Animal Crossing, but she freaking played Doom, so everyone went there.
Yeah, I guess it's weird, yeah, because everyone had like a one or the other decision where they were either gonna stream Animal Crossing, which I guess appeals more to the ones that are more idol based, and then there are just some that they just play whatever they want, and I think a lot more people, I guess, kind of go more towards that authenticity. Which for me, like a lot more of the VTubers I like are not really like the, I guess, classic idol-ish characters. They're more like the entertainer, like the really funny ones. So for me, like my favorite is more like, which is really weird because one of them does claim herself as an idol, but everything she does is almost not idol-like. It's Usada Pecora from Hololive because she, I just, she was actually the very first one of the VTubers that when I was getting back into it, she was the very first one that I watched. So I'm kind of a little bit biased, but she's just a really crazy rabbit, and I can relate to that. And the other one from Niji Sanji was Otogibara Era.
Oh yeah.
So they're both kind of. Also, Otogibara Era played The Legend of Sausage, and that playthrough will just forever remain one of my favorites of her just making sausage puns. I can't really say. I guess I could. I guess it's my podcast, so I can say whatever I want. But she made a lot of like sexual innuendo jokes, and a lot of the people who came from her stream to fight against her made a lot of very sexual puns. And just to see someone like that kind of enjoy themselves and not really care, to me, like I can relate to that more than someone who's just kind of doing like classic. Oh, hey, here's me being cute. Here's me being, etc., etc. But it also might come from a difference of culture, because I know that for in Japan, I know that a lot more of what they resonate well with, as far as what I've seen and some, I guess, controversies that have happened, is they're more about, I guess, the idol culture. So more like, oh hey, like here's this person who I guess is quote unquote untouchable, and they are like my idol, and I want to send them money, and like they're my ideal person, like I would quote unquote want to date them. And it kind of transformed into like VTubers as well, kind of having that a little bit of that same mindset too.
Yeah.
but I noticed that especially for like as far as the Western audience, like a lot of them like more just entertainment. Like we just look for a little bit more like the funny side, like just stuff that we want to watch. We just want to relate. Like we don't want to date these people. Like we just are looking for people who like we enjoy coming and watching their content and seeing what they want to offer. And then I don't know if for Indonesia that's the same or if it's a mix of the both or
I'm not sure. I think it might be a mix, but a lot of people do enjoy the idol stuff. So yeah, I think we're leaning mostly to the idols, but I do see some people just watching people just because they're fun, and it's an interesting topic that you mentioned, because like Indonesia is really big with VTubers for some reason, and like we have a bunch of different dynamics between fans. So there's fans who are like completely into idols and they worship the VTubers or something, and then we have like a bunch of people who are just having fun. They do spend money, they give away their money to VTubers, but they know that we're just people and we make content for fun, or for them I guess, and they enjoy it.
So do you have an idol career in the future? Are we gonna hear a KATSUki D single sometime soon?
I don't know. I'm not. I'm not close to that option. I am open to everything.
I mean, technically, you could, because you're a cyborg, you could auto-tune it, and no one would know the difference. Yeah. No one would know the difference between your actual voice and your singing voice if it's auto-tuned.
I do
so
have
no
auto-tune.
one would know.
Yeah, I can turn it on if you want to.
Oh, I have heard it. I've heard it when you were playing. I've heard it when you were playing Human Fall Flat, and you kept on falling, and you were singing as you were falling. Like that, I remember just thinking. I remember watching those clips, and I was thinking, like, damn, that's such a good use of being a cyborg and being able to auto-tune it and add it to your character. I was like, dang, like, because no one else, unless you're also cybernetic, no one else would get away with using auto-tune in a funny way like that. I was like, dang, this guy's smart. This guy has a character that he can like take advantage of. Dang. And anytime you feel like you don't like your voice as a cyborg, you can kind of just auto-tune your voice, and no one would know the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I was just like, dang. I was like, dang, this guy is good. This guy is smart. This guy has a character pretty like well set, and I can respect that. Let's see. Was there anyone that you, in the whole broad spectrum of like VTuberdom, is there anyone that you would have wanted to collab?
I wanna do something with Kizuna Ai and Kaguya Luna. And
which Kizuna Ai?
Which Kizuna? The older sister Kizuna Ai, or maybe the OG.
Oh god,
maybe the OG.
Because I was like, I guess the one that I mostly watch is, I think it's the gaming one. Is it the shorter hair one?
Yeah.
The shorter, yeah. That's the one I mostly watch now. But I do watch some of them where it's like all three of them together, and then they're all like commenting on stuff. But aside from Kizuna Ai, because I feel like that's too obvious that you would want to do with Kizuna Ai.
I don't think Kaguya Luna is active anymore, so. But I do want to do stuff with Kaguya Luna, and I want to, do more with Nijisanji ID. I did have a collab with Hana and Azura last month, but we haven't been able to like set up anything more. And I feel like the Indonesian people should, play together more. Indies and agency people.
Are there a lot of, again, because maybe I don't know what it's like being with a company, but are there a lot of, I guess, regulations that each of these companies have to go through? I'm sure, like, for you can like collab with any indie VTuber that you want, just or like any YouTuber that want, because you have like the ability to. You're not with a company, but say for some, like, just for example, if there was like a 3-way collaboration between like Bomb's project and Niji Sanji and Hololive, like, are there and specifically like the ID branch of it, like, are there a lot of regulations and rules that have to be followed?
I'm not sure actually, but yeah, probably because it's when you're talking about corporations, it gets like political, like really quickly. But I don't know, like I don't actually know anything, but I am pretty sure they'll probably have to like talk about things between each other. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that there was like a whole thing where I think there was a VTuber who recently retired. I think her name was Oda Nobuhime, and then I think she really wanted to collab with what's her name? Her name's Tamaki. She dressed like a dog maid with like colorful hair and silver hair. All the VTubers are melding into my brain. I can't remember their names, but they both have 3D models, and then they went into this whole thing of how they wanted to collab, but then I guess because Oda was more of like a corporate VTuber, she couldn't be allowed to, and then they had to pull like a lot of intense strings to be able to collab. And I was like, dang, this sounds like a lot of work just to collaborate with someone that you really like. I'm like, oh, I would rather just
really
work on my own. I would rather just work on my own, which is a good thing. You can kind of be on your own, and you can kind of tweet on your own, because really, what other VTubers tweet that it's real horny hours on main at like 3, well, at least as far as where I live, I always hear tweets like that at 3 in the morning, and I'm like, yeah, I guess it's real horny hours right now. I guess this is true. I guess I can relate to this. As far as what VTubers usually do, because you guys can stream anything you want, from literally eating spicy noodles to video gaming to just chatting and drinking. Is there anything that some people should keep in mind when following, or I guess supporting certain VTubers, or things that like, oh, maybe you shouldn't do this, or don't spam the chat, or like don't tweet or something like that? Like, is there anything that you would want to tell people, for those who are kind of just getting into it, to kind of keep in mind when it comes to, I guess, supporting and kind of getting into these VTubers?
All right, so a lot of VTubers have rules about this. So the most common one is do not speak about other VTubers, especially from other agencies, or not from the one they're currently in, because it's kind of for one, it's impolite, and two, maybe like there's some stuff that they don't want to mention, maybe. But yeah, the first one, don't mention other VTubers, and the second one is don't be a carrier pigeon. So if you're watching like some other VTuber stream, and they say something about this VTuber, don't go to that certain VTuber channel just to be like, hey, someone said this about you, you should blah blah blah. Yeah, don't do that. That gets like a lot of people really angry, and I think people should refrain from doing that. It's like common courtesy now in the VTuber world.
I guess it's kind of weird, because like I do see people mention that, where more in the sense of like, especially if it's like one-on-one like chat time, you don't mention other VTubers. Of like, I've seen it all the time with Uruharu from Hololive, where she's like, why do you keep mentioning other girls in my stream? Like, you're with me, aren't you? Like, you're with me right now, like, etc etc. And I can definitely see how, like, if you use another person's like metaphors and euphemisms in someone else's stream, it can be considered rude. But I guess it's also weird, because I've seen clips where I guess certain VTubers fans, who will be fans of like other ones who say that they appreciate the other people's work, that's when they'll bring it up. So I think the only like quote unquote the two positive cases I've seen are like where what's her name from Niji Sanji, Homa Himawari or something like that. Like I know she has like a sunflower in her hair or something like that, but she is one of the Niji Sanji JP VTubers, and I guess Pecora said in an interview that she really watches, and etc etc. And I guess they've been kind of going back and forth in their streams, because their fans were saying like, oh, Pecora said that like, she really likes you and blah blah blah, and then like Himawari would say something about it, and then back and forth. And then the other one was the recent between Hana Makia and what's her name, Pikame from Bombs. Pikami, yeah. Where I guess I don't know who it was first, but one of them said, "Oh, I really like this VTuber, and then I guess the people went to the other person that they were like, what,
Hmm.
this VTuber said something about me, and then they kind of went back and forth saying how much they like each other until eventually it got into the collaboration of where they did Animal Crossing. So
Yeah.
I've seen it in a positive case before, but overall, yeah, that is one of the rules that you generally should not, unless they specifically bring it up beforehand.
Hmm.
And then one of the other things I have noticed, clearly you have no problem with it. In fact, I'm pretty sure you are waiting for people to do it, but I've seen that most people want to or do not want not safe for work art in their
Oh
tags.
yeah.
Unless they specifically ask for it. And if anyone is listening here that is an artist, whether it's in the present or future, listening to this podcast, if you are an artist and you would like to draw some really hot cyber kitsune art, you can send it to KATSUKi D on Twitter,
Yep.
and he will very much appreciate it regardless of whatever the style is, if it's tasteful. But please make sure it's tasteful, because if it's really crappy art, he's not gonna like it. But yeah, other than that, I have seen some people where they're like, yeah, don't put, or like, oh, my manager said don't put not safe for work art. But it's kind of weird because I also see some VTubers where they're like, oh, like so and so, like, or whoever, like so and so didn't think I'm sexy. Guys, everyone watching, draw sexy art of me so we can make this other VTuber lust for me. I'm just like, man, to be in that position where you can just have fan art just sent to you whenever you want, that must be great. That
Yep.
must be glorious. But
It's
I
really
mean,
funny.
I hope someone draws it. I see a lot of potential for like a cybernetic cyberpunk Kitsune. So please, everyone, send stuff so we can all see it on the, or maybe for the new project that we'll talk about towards the later half of this podcast. Maybe in a certain server, maybe you can make a certain tag or whatever, and people can send it there. But we'll talk about that later on. Now going on to, let's see. So how does your, I guess your quote unquote your body, your cybernetic body with your face / mask and your arm, like how does that kind of, is it hard to, well, one, is it hard to take a shower in, and two, what is removable out of your parts?
Okay, so my mask is completely removable, but I do have like something that clamps into my jaw, I guess. Yeah, it kind of clamps there, and I just put the mask to the clamp thing, and like my arm's completely waterproof, but I do have to clean it every few months, sort of. And yeah, I remove my mask when I'm taking a shower, at least, and when I'm sleeping.
I kind of just imagine that you're kind of like what's his name, Edward Elric, where you just remove your giant, where you're just robotic arm and you're just like cleaning it on your knees or something like that, or from Full Metal Alchemist. So like I just imagine it like that, and then like I'm hoping it's one of those situations where like you just remove the mask and then it's a beautiful like anime man underneath. That's what I'm hoping. Like the fan, like, you know how a lot of people wanted to find out what Kakashi looked like under the mask. That's what I'm hoping. Like every single, like, I just imagine this zany wacky thing of like all the Indonesian VTubers, and they're like, what does he look like under the mask? Let's like spend like an hour to figure out what he looks like under the mask, and then underneath the mask you just have another mask.
That would be funny, yeah. Like a lot of people have asked me about it, like today even, because we had a thing on Twitter where we shared like 5 facts about ourselves, and one of them is like, this is a mask, I do have a face underneath, and people were like, no way, no. And I guess they're kind of curious about it now.
People, please draw your iterations of what you think KATSUKi looks like under the mask.
Please do.
If you think he has eyes like they draw in Lucky Star, please draw it. I would like to see it. I actually, one of the one of the art that I kind of had in mind for you, because I'm actually a big fan of this character from League, is I don't know if you remember Sona. She had like a DJ Sona skin
Oh yeah, I
that
do.
kind of had like a full So DJ Sona is like my favorite skin to use when I used to play that game and it wasn't taking up 90%. That skin is one of the things that, like, if I ever were to make an actual cosplay of it in real life, like, that would be one of the most badass things to do. And I would love to kind of see something similar where you just kind of have this badass DJ cyberpunk look. I would love to see that. So please, someone draw it for me so we can
Yes.
see it happen in real life. And then once we get KATSUki to about 10,000 subscribers, then maybe we can make it as his alternate skin. Please, everyone. I'm really just begging the people at this point, just so that we can have alternate skins for
Yeah,
your.
we gotta beg.
It's like, how much more can I ask people to not only donate for a new iPhone, but also for new alternate skins and eventually a 3D model. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do want a 3D model.
So why specifically the Kitsune? For as far as like your character, I also did notice also too on your reference sheet that you had and we'll talk about the 3D again in just a sec, but as far as like the Kitsune, and then I guess that there was also a kanji for Oni, why did you want to do that specific design?
So the Kitsune mask, we originally, like, I just wanted to wear a mask, so we designed this. We've made like maybe 5 masks, but this one is the one we stuck with. So it's a Kitsune mask. I think the Oni symbol is just like, it's pretty common to see Kitsune mask with an Oni symbol on the forehead. So we just went with it and we made it like more, cyberpunk sorta. And we designed it so I could just stream more freely. I guess that's like the main thing that was our main goal. I wanted a mask so I could stream and just be free of all the issues that I could possibly have from streaming with my own face.
As far as your 3D model, like for something in the future, and also I really need to stop saying like, but hopefully after 5 more podcasts we'll work on that. But I imagine your character kind of being the type to, with your 3D model, do something similar to, I think it's called Beat Saber, where you the Beat Saber where you have like that whole thing where it's just like a very cyberpunk sort of stream where you kind of are, I guess, showing off your reflexes and kind of doing that stuff. But what would you want to do for a 3D stream?
I definitely would want to play Beat Saber because I do enjoy rhythm games, and I kind of want to make just stupid dance covers or just like do stupid skits. I think that'll be like really funny and interesting for people to watch.
What's a example of a dance that you would want to do?
Oh, dude, I would wanna, if you know like the B Money rhythm game series, there's a song called Daisuke, and it has like a really stupid dance, and I really want to do it. And there's also a song called She Is My Wife, which also has a interesting dance and a really funny lyrics and video.
Oh god, I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh god. I'll wait for that day. We'll all wait for that day one day. Hopefully one day I can also donate to that 3D live stream, and then I'll request you to do a stupid dance to TKG no Uta and what's that other song, Shin Takarajima, because I would want to just see want to see your character just kind of like go back and forth side to side, because I really just love that song with the passion of 1,000 suns.
I gotta work hard for the 3D.
Oh my gosh. So do your cybernetic enhancements help with your video games? Do you consider yourself very MLG? Not including any collabs where you may or may not have proven to a lot of people, perhaps more than once, that you are not to be messed with?
I do think I'm better than average, I guess, and it does help. The mask helps me, focus and I do have a special mode where it just pumps adrenaline, so I can really focus when I'm in that mode, and the arm just helps me move easily because I feel like it's a part of me now basically, but it's really attached to the mask, so whatever the mask piece might have will probably just snap onto it like using an aimbot sort of. Yeah, I
Oh
do
my
think I'm
god.
better than average on some games, on most games, I guess.
I guess if anything, I guess if anyone messes with you, you could just, detach the adrenaline tube and just spray it in people's faces.
Yeah, I could.
So then this is probably a very random fact. So, are you, well, I guess regardless of whether that's your dominant arm, is your dominant arm your left hand or your right hand?
It is my right hand.
Oh, so your right, your cybernetic hand is your strong hand.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, keep that in mind when you draw not safe for work art. Keep in mind that his right hand is the strong hand or strong arm. So everyone, please keep that in mind when you draw that. I'm not gonna infer what sort of innuendo that is, but I'm pretty sure everyone can catch on to what I'm talking about. Okay, so now on to something that I think you're pretty passionate about. I know you've mentioned a bit about it in tweets and stuff like that. Kind of starting with a new YouTube channel from a VTuber stream. What do you feel like? I guess the process for you kind of going on YouTube now and being like a YouTube VTuber as opposed to streaming games on Twitch.
So a lot of VTubers are actually streaming on YouTube. Maybe not in America. Maybe American VTubers are all on Twitch, but in Indonesia and Japan and everywhere else in Asia, we all stream on YouTube. And I did not want to be a part of that. I don't wanna I don't wanna go mainstream with that one. I feel like I'm very comfy with Twitch. So my first decision was just I'm going to stream on Twitch, and I will upload archives and maybe highlights to YouTube. And I just think Twitch is the better platform for streaming. But I do think YouTube has an edge over Twitch for videos and other stuff. But yeah, I do feel like a lot more people should stream on Twitch. A lot more VTubers should be on Twitch.
Are you saying that because you're giving all of them your referral link on Twitch?
Dude, I wish we had referral links. I don't think that Twitch has those. I wish we had.
Damn, you would make a killing on the Indonesian VTuber market if that was the case.
Yeah,
Dang.
exactly.
I know in the West, Twitch is very popular. I guess the way that I've seen it, because I have been on YouTube since probably the dawn of whenever I was like a young 4th grade kid going on the internet because I didn't have any friends, because it do be like that sometimes. But I remember from way back when, of course, people were just doing more casual long plays on YouTube. But then with the inclusion of streaming services like Twitch, there were some other ones, but Twitch was the main one that came out. Basically, Twitch kind of came around the time of Adpocalypse, and when a lot of YouTubers were getting demonetized or not getting their ads. So Twitch kind of became that alternate source. Like some of my favorite YouTubers, I keep wanting to say VTubers, YouTubers like Manly Badass Hero and a few other ones, RPG Minx, have found a lot more success, I guess, now from Twitch. So what they do is it's more of a weekend thing. So usually they'll do like a few videos a week during YouTube, but now, or they used to do it where they used to do a few videos a week, but now what they do is they'll do like less videos and then they'll stream more on Twitch. And some people, in some cases, some YouTubers have completely switched over to Twitch so they can do more of the content that they decide to do. Because there are some, like, I think his name is Cryotic or Chaotic Monkey, where he almost always would do long plays. So it would be like the game of Okami in 40 parts. Each video is like an hour long. And that's like a lot of time to continuously like edit and like cut down parts and etc. etc. And he just said that over time, having to consistently edit and do all that stuff for YouTube is not as fun for him now versus where it's Twitch, where you can just stream and you don't have to edit anything. It's just you're just streaming it from beginning to end, and people can go to that same archived source and view it like a YouTube video.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier for them, and in some cases they can use it to get more monetized. And unless you're a ninja, you more than likely will get a lot more money than you usually do with YouTube. But I guess it just depends if you're partnered or not. But I have noticed that as far as Asia is concerned, a lot more people do stream on YouTube. Now, whether that's because of YouTube's monetization or because of the algorithm, I'm not too sure. I don't know. I'm not as huge on Twitch for myself. I don't really watch a lot of Twitch stuff because I have YouTube Prime, so I'm mostly on YouTube all the time. But I don't know how the Twitch algorithm works in the sense of, does it push out a lot of streams that are more popular than others to the front page, or how do people kind of go about finding that? Is it just random?
Twitch's algorithm kind of sucks in my opinion. Like, the front page is mostly reserved for partners. So how Twitch does it is, like, every day or every week, they cycle out partners to be on the front page. So they actually have a time slot on it. So we won't discover like random people on the front page, but you can discover like people from the categories or like the browsing page, but it's just not that reliable versus YouTube's actual algorithm. So that's like most people on Twitch don't really clickbait, because it doesn't work. Clickbait doesn't work on Twitch.
So do you feel like you already have to have a following beforehand, regardless of whether it's from YouTube or Twitter or whatever? Like, do you feel like you need to have a following before you start going on Twitch if the algorithm doesn't push random like you have to invite your friends and your family to watch your first few streams to, I guess, quote unquote, get in the algorithm's favor?
Yeah, definitely. I think it really helps if you already have a presence on Twitter or other social media, and it does help if you get your friends or your family, or even just open up your laptop to add one extra viewer, and it doesn't really for the most part, it doesn't really randomize the algorithm doesn't really do anything. It just sorts by the amount of viewers. So if you have more viewers, you'll get on top easier. So yeah, I do think it helps if you already have a presence, or if you can get your friends or your family to help watch your stream, even though they're just adding a viewer. But it really does help. So please, if you're a new streamer, just get your family and friends to watch.
See, the stuff that I would stream is I kind of swear a lot, and it's not safe for work. So I would kind of feel like it would be harder for me to want to invite my relatives who are all very religious based to come to my stream. I would be like, oh guys, please don't, because I come from a Filipino background, so a lot of my family, or my I'm not religious myself, but like a lot of my relatives are like come from Filipino Catholic based religious. I'm just like, yeah, please don't come to my stream, please don't watch what I do, please don't see anything, because if I do, I'm gonna have to hear it at family reunion, and I really don't want to. I really don't want to talk about how much I love dicks on stream or with the family. Please do not watch it. But yeah, I mean, I think my friends already know, so like that would totally be fine. I do know that one positive thing about YouTube is the algorithm is so funky that it recommends me videos from like anywhere from 8 years ago to 5 years ago, like random stuff that for whatever reason pops up on my feed. Like a literal video of this old cursed meme video, I Want a Non-Human Bones, which features this weird guy in a pink suit in auto-tune saying he wants non-human, but like a random ass video popped up on my feed. And I think that's also the story of how I found VTubers again, because again, like I said, I think it was Hololive that kind of just randomly appeared on my screen. I was like, who is this character, etc., etc. So I do know that I think there's a little bit more. I mean, of course, everything's luck based, but I
Yeah.
do think that there is a little bit of a factor with YouTube that I can see that maybe these Asian VTuber communities can kind of capitalize on. Where if enough traction kind of comes about from these different communities, then it's a little bit easier to kind of find. And almost always, it's never the original VTuber. It's always someone who clips it. So it's always like someone who makes a English VTuber translation of this person, random funny moments. So and so falls asleep on stream, which, by the way, I'm just gonna really quickly talk about that. There was that one Niji Sanji VTuber, I forget her name, but she fell asleep on stream, and she woke up to about at least over $2,000 worth of money of people just sending her super chats after she fell asleep on stream for like 7 to 8 hours. And if you're not making money moves like that in this world, everyone, then I don't know what you're doing with your life. Sleep for money and sleep for views, and then go on trending because you're sleeping on a live stream. That's the secret to success right there. But yeah, like I don't know, like I can't imagine that. Again, like because I would consider you a very meme-ish VTuber. I'm pretty sure one of your moments will eventually end up on like a random ass like Indonesian English clip. Because if people are already starting to clip like all these Indonesian VTubers, because I've been seeing a lot of them pop out, like I'm pretty sure one of your moments will appear on there. Like I'm almost certain either that or I'll have to submit to every single one by hand, and maybe eventually they'll get your stuff there. Because that's where I find a lot of random VTubers that I never would have known otherwise.
Yeah, clips really help.
I think I found you through. I think it was by association. I think I found you through Hana. I think because I didn't know Sora and Evelyn, the other ones. I think it was through Hana that I think I was randomly looking through her stuff, and then that's when I came across you. But I don't remember which video. But I think it was in that series that I found you. In which case, I found out that you were clearly an MLG gamer and clearly way too good, way too better than anyone else in this community. But aside from that, like, do you kind of see yourself still being able to juggle both Twitch and YouTube?
Oh yeah, I do. I definitely think it's possible because on Twitch I stream for maybe maximum of 6 hours on Twitch, and I don't stream every day. I take weekends off, and even on weekdays I don't stream every day. So on those off days, if I'm not working on anything else, I could probably just make highlights or clips that I can post on my own YouTube. And I do post all of my stream archives to YouTube, and I think it's just like if I have time to make highlights, I will do it. If not, then it's just archives for now.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you can still have moderate success and still make it in, as far as the area where you live in Indonesia, like do you feel that it's easier to not have like the success of Keys in the Eye, like you can still have like a general amount of success and still make it in the area that you live in?
I do think it's possible, yeah, because there are a lot of YouTubers and even Twitch streamers from Indonesia who are, I could call them successful, yeah. And there's also another Indonesian VTuber called Andi Adinata from Indonesia, and he has like 100,000 subscribers. He just hit 100K like this month, maybe like the end of last month. So if he can do it, like anyone else can.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's... Oh my goodness.
He's way faster than any of the other VTubers.
And then do you feel like it's just YouTube favoring a certain person's algorithm, or do you feel like it really is solely based on the content and the character of the person?
It's more of like how you can get the algorithm to favor you. So if you keep making like content that people would watch, like maybe song covers, or you have an interesting title or thumbnail, or you just go with the flow and do all the trendy stuff, I think YouTube will put you out there. So if you want to make it onto YouTube, on YouTube, you just gotta, do the fat stuff. It'll really help if you do that. I don't want to do it. That's why I don't really care. But if you wanna, make it on YouTube, you definitely gotta, do something. It's either like you do something that everyone else is doing, or you do something that everyone else is not doing, and that takes away all the attention.
I mean, I don't see anyone else talking about OBS tutorials. So I mean, I think that's a pretty good video right there. Man, I guess there's just so much analytics and so much science and math that goes behind it, that there's just so much things to consider as far as what you're posting and what kind of goes viral and then what doesn't go viral. And it's just, but at the same time, as long as you're enjoying it, then I think really that's all that matters.
Yeah,
but
that's all that matters.
For the rest of us who aren't successful VTubers, just like me, you can find me on my OnlyFans account, and you can, hopefully you can tip me, and I will send you pictures of my feet, and I will send you whatever else you want to see for the right amount of money. You just let me know. In any case, going on to some more casual stuff. I know I have seen it in a few other Indonesian VTuber streams, but I have not really researched much about where you guys come from and as far as your country. Like, what are some of your guys' favorite food? I know that in the recent Hololive ID one, they were talking about. I really don't want to butcher. I don't want to butcher these, but I feel like I know the pronunciation is similar to. I think the way that some Indonesian dialect is similar to some Filipino ones, which is like a different. I'm thinking it's like more like bakso, satay, and siomai, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Oh, did I? Okay,
yeah,
that's.
Exactly.
I'm just assuming. I was assuming just based on how a Filipino would say it. That's how I would read it. But what are some of your? Oh, well, first between those three, if you want to explain what they are and what your favorite one is out of them.
All right. So bakso is meatballs, but it's not like your Western meatballs. It's Asian meatballs, Chinese meatballs are very rubbery. It's almost like a rubber. You when you bite into it, it just bites back almost like a
rubber band.
Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely not those ground beef kind of meatball. It's different. It's like goop, but
Is it just like bubble gum? You just chew into it. You're just continuously just chewing into it.
Some of them, yeah. It's like bubblegum, and some of them is exactly like this rubber. You bite into it, it's hard, and you just chew. And satay is skewers. If you were into Japanese food, it's like yakitori. So it's just
okay.
And
we have
Indonesia, we
have that a lot in Filipino food.
Yeah, we use peanut sauce on satay in Indonesia. I don't think like many other countries use peanut sauce. Maybe Filipino food use it.
Yeah, I'm one of the few people that I think it comes from in Filipino culture it's used to, where I'm like, yeah, I know what peanut sauce is. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And siomai is Chinese dumplings and whatever else.
Is it shumai?
Yeah, shumai. Yeah, it's the same
thing.
Oh,
okay. I was like, okay.
We use like peanut sauce also on our siomai.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
We use
okay,
peanut sauce on everything.
Because I mainly just use like soy sauce or like stuff for gyoza and mandu.
Oh yeah.
That kind of
like soy sauce or like chili sauce or something. We use peanut sauce.
Yeah. Filipinos, there's a lot of chili sauce everywhere.
Yeah, same.
A lot of chili. And I'm just like, oh, because even then, like, I grew up with so much like Filipino foods like pancit and lumpia and a lot of foods that make me question my sanity as a Filipino. But other than that, I just keep thinking about why we create Ebola and why it exists. But that's okay. It's just But anyways, what is your favorite out of the three? Before I keep getting Filipino food flashback.
I might have to go with bakso.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay,
do love
yeah.
bakso.
Like, I guess I'm a little bit biased because in Filipino culture we have something similar to satay and yakitori. I don't know what the name of it is, but every single Filipino party I've went to has like some sort of skewer like meat food. So I'm a little bit biased towards that. But is there any other food that you'd recommend to anyone that isn't listed out of those three? Did you really recommend people try when they go to Indonesia, or if you see it at an Indonesian food store?
Oh, there's a. Okay, the easiest one I can recommend is Indomie. It's instant noodles. You can find this anywhere, even in the US or like
Is that the
Japan.
one you tweeted about?
Yeah,
Oh,
Indomie.
okay.
That's
And
like
then
the
like
easiest one.
what's the difference between like, well, what's the main, I guess, selling point of that specific type of instant noodle?
It's more flavorful. I
It's more
can assure you
flavorful.
it's more flavorful than most other instant noodles that you can try.
I think I kind of have to stay away from instant noodles for a while because I don't know if you know the companies Paeyong and Samyang,
Mm,
but the really extremely spicy noodles that
yeah.
everyone does for challenges. Yeah, so I recorded a YouTube video and you'll see it soon. Everyone will see it soon. But let's just say it was not a fun time for me. It's a
Oh,
fun
yeah.
time. It was a fun time for my. It was a fun time for my friends. Not a fun time for me. But we'll see what you guys will see that. And then so you said you don't have any personal Indonesian ghost stories, but is there anything that you've kind of heard as far as like a creature or anything? Because I've heard tell from Reichi and some other Indonesian VTubers that there's just some. You guys have some really incredible creatures of the night,
Oh, yeah.
apparently.
We do. So
And
there's
it makes me very scared to wanna at least like go out at night.
I don't actually like know the stories behind them, but I know the ghosts, the monsters, but I don't know their story.
Like, have you I guess assuming as a cybernetic human growing up, what was there anything that you like? Did you have any classmates or any stories or like anything that people would say, "Don't go down" or like "Don't go out at this time" or like "Oh, you're gonna be snatched up by
Oh,
this
yeah.
thing" or "This house is haunted"?
There's a lot of those stories that mainly like parents tell you just to like keep you from doing naughty stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
of course, there's always going to be like those stories. But is there anything that you kind of maybe personally believe that kind of, even if maybe it sounds stupid, you probably would not want to chance it?
Let me think.
Because at least as far as Hawaii is, well, and of course the Philippines too. I've heard a lot of ghost stories in the Philippines, but I know as far as Hawaii, of course, we have a lot sacred spirituality here that kind of goes on, and of course, like with all the stuff with tourism, a lot of it has been kind of desecrated. So of course, there's a lot of stories, and I've seen and experienced a lot of things at night on beaches that I just think to myself, man, I really shouldn't be out here at 3 a.m, but I make very bad decisions. Like even just for a stupid story that I tell everyone, that if anyone really wants to prove their worth to me, not that I would really ever consider doing this anytime soon, but there is a place here called, on Maui specifically, called Iao Valley, and it has a lot of history behind the wars between the different islands, between the different ali'i who were trying to, I guess, between King Kamehameha and the different warring chiefs. And there's a lot of war history over there. And we always hear stories growing up of, I guess you really shouldn't go there at night because there's night marchers and whatnot. And I will always joke around to my friends like, hey guys, if you want to go up there at like 2 o'clock leading up to 3 o'clock in the morning, and you want to do a Ouija board there at 3 o'clock in the morning, you let me know, and we'll see which one of us truly is the bravest.
Oh.
Like something stupid like that. I don't know if for you've had like stupid like I'm gonna be stupid and try to prove that I'm brave, even though I'm really fucking scared right now that something is gonna snatch me up in the night.
Right. So I live in Jakarta, right? So Jakarta is a pretty modern city, so we don't really have those like urban legends. I don't think we have those like specifically in Jakarta, but I do know there's like some ghost that will snatch you up if you swim on a certain beach in West Java. I forgot the name, but yeah. If you go there at like in the afternoon and you wear like I think green clothing or something, like some ghost or some entity will snatch you up from the beach and you will be lost forever. I don't know. It sounds silly, but I guess I wouldn't want to do that because you know it's I get the logic behind the story. You just don't go to the beach at night. You will drown. But I wouldn't want to be snatched up by a ghost if I do want to risk it. It sounds kind of weird if I get snatched up.
That's such a very specific requirement for like you can only if you go there
Yeah,
in
only if
the
you go
afternoon while you're wearing green,
there.
you will get snatched up. And I'm like, well, what if I go at night and I'm wearing red?
It doesn't make
It's fine.
sense.
The ghost doesn't like red. They'll ignore you. Like they're tired at night. They want to get some sleep, just like the rest of you. And they don't like the color red. It's the opposite of green. You'll be fine. Like you just swim in the morning, swim at night, but like
Yeah.
not specifically the afternoon wearing green. But at the same time, knowing my own personal lore and legends here, I probably would not want to chance it anyway. One of the things I did want to ask, and I know it's maybe in general, maybe it's just East Asia and Southeast Asia, but why do you guys have why are there so many Indonesian and Thai horror games? Like I see it all the time. Like I see so much. I mean, of course, there's like Japanese horror games and Chinese horror games and like some Philippine, but like I see a lot of them about specifically Thailand and Indonesia. Like I
Yes,
see a lot
we,
of
we
it, and I'm
have
like,
a lot.
why do
We
you,
have a lot. Yeah.
why do you guys have so many horror games? Like, is
I
it
think
just like a prevailing?
is the urban legends. We have a lot of those. I don't remember any of them, but yeah, we do have a lot, and we do have a lot of ghosts and ghost stories, and they're all very very creepy, and it's good content to be a video game
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, because I look back at some of them, like I'm sure I'll search up really quickly while I'm thinking about that. But I know like almost all of them take place in schools.
Oh
Like they're
yeah.
almost always set in like either hospitals or schools, and I'm like, okay, clearly I do not want to go to a Thai or Indonesian hospital or school at night because apparently something is gonna come after me when I'm least expecting it. Like just oh yeah, there's some that I've seen. Like I think the main one I've seen is I think it's called Pamali.
Yeah.
Pamali is the main one that I've seen where some English YouTubers have played it, and I'm just like, man, y'all just oh, whoa.
Right.
Oh
So
gosh.
there's a Amali means things that taboo things.
Mhm.
Those are Amali. So in the game you kind of have to do those taboo things, to get the ghost. Or I haven't actually played it, but I know it's like about why you should or should not do those forbidden things like cutting your nails at night or going somewhere or I don't
You can't
actually
cut your
know.
nails at night?
Yeah, it's a taboo thing if you cut your nails at night.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'll have to keep that in mind next time because sometimes I'm up until 6 in the morning, and sometimes the guy just wants to cut his nails. So
Exactly.
I'll keep
like,
that in mind.
I just want to. Oh, my nails are long. I just cut it. I don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll have to keep that in mind. But yeah, like you're saying that you have to do all the taboo stuff to summon the ghost.
Mm.
Like, oh, gosh. And then the same time, I wouldn't mind seeing you play it because I would love
Oh god.
to. I have noticed that I've noticed that when certain people play certain games, especially like how Coco Kiryu from Hololive played Ark. Everyone played Ark. Literally, like all of Hololive ended up playing Ark. And if you play it and you get the rest of the Indonesian and then after that, if you get the rest of the Indonesian VTubers, regardless of whether they're with a company or not, if you get them to play it, and then you get people to clip it, and then because there have been some people who clip like, oh, here's all of Hololive reacting to the exact same jump scare in this game.
Oh yeah.
I would love to see a clip of all the Indonesian VTubers react to that game because it's it's something.
I'm really bad at horror games.
I mean, are you actually?
I am, yeah. I've played like I've made 2 horror game videos with collaboration with other Indonesian VTubers. We played the convenience store game, and we played the other game, and it's I'm just bad at horror games in general. I can't do it.
Was it the locker or was it the security camera that got you?
It's the locker, definitely.
Yeah. Everyone I've watched in those, everyone except for maybe Tokino Soda, everyone has kind of gotten very animated after seeing that, to the point that they're telling the person to go kill themselves, even though that's their manager. Oh, I guess they got their wish because spoilers, he did end up getting killed. So
Yep.
I guess everyone did get their wish. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could do it as a milestone. I guess if the people really want to see it, I would love for, like, because again, like I would love to see if there's any, because I like when seeing people, I guess, play horror games that are related to their culture, because they can kind of understand it. Like when I would see Manly Badass Hero play a Thai horror game, then he kind of gets the references and understands. I'm like, oh yeah, this is how it is, and in my home country, and etc. etc. So I would kind of like to see how VTubers, because again, I believe, how big is Indonesia?
It's huge.
Yeah, so I'm assuming in the broad range of every single ID tuber that you guys would have very different experiences depending on whether you're more from a place that's rural or more of a place like Jakarta where it's more modern.
Yeah.
So I would like to see how everyone kind of reacts to that in a different situation, being like, oh, ghosts don't scare me, I come from a modern place, and then some people being like, yo, I ain't gonna fuck with this, I have seen way too many ghost stories to like wanna deal with this, and then from there you can just get super chats from everyone. Oh no, wait, you guys don't have super chat because
we don't.
Indonesia, I don't think you guys use Streamlabs, I think.
Yeah. It's so weird.
You guys, everyone, send them Streamlabs, and hopefully KATSUki, if he does it as a milestone, we would all like to see some clips of him getting scared, because who doesn't want to watch someone get scared at like late at night? Oh, I guess, wait, would you ever play it late at night, or like do you... I guess not disclosing anything, but is it harder for you to play something late at night in a situation where you might be really loud and possibly scare everyone? Or do you play those games during the day?
I play at night mostly, yeah. Even if I'm loud, I play at night, yeah. Okay,
I'm like, you might as well turn all the ambience on, you know what I mean? Why would you play a scary game during the day? That's just weak. If you want to go on the dark, and deep web, or if you want to play a horror game, you play it at very, very early hours. Really, essentially, horny hours and spooky hours are at the exact same time.
Exactly.
So, for those looking to, I don't know, fuck a ghost, that's a really good time, because they're both essentially the exact same hours. But now going on to some different topics. So, I know we kind of mentioned covers before, but what is the type of music that you like?
Oh, I listen mostly to Western music, like progressive rock. I love Rush, I love Dream Theater, Tool, and I do listen to some Japanese EDM, video game music also. What else? It's mostly those things.
Really? I wouldn't have pegged you as someone you said progressive rock, right?
Yeah.
Wow, I actually would not have pegged you as that, but I also can't imagine you as being the type to listen to a lot of that rock as explosions are going off behind you. So I guess it's not. I guess it's not too far out of that. But wow, I wouldn't have imagined that. So then, what's like your favorite song of all time?
Oh, dude, that's really hard.
What's like the first one that comes to mind? The very first one.
Okay, I guess I gotta give it to the Dance of Eternity from Dream Theater.
Yeah, that's a good one. Dang, I'm like, because I listen to a lot of like math rock and math rock. I listen to math rock and what is it? Shoot, what is the other iteration of it? It's oh my god, why am I forgetting it now? Math rock and
What is it?
Oh my god, I'm getting upset. Not it's not post rock. It's math rock and oh my god, I'm getting upset. Why can't I remember it? I'll remember it eventually, but one of the things I really love is kind of I like music that doesn't follow a traditional 4/4 time. So every time I do listen to math rock and it's not post rock, it's something else. I'll figure it out later. But I think it's really cool seeing how both Western and Asian because I know my favorite Japanese one is I think their name is like Turiko or something, or in English it's like Tricot or something, or Trico or something like that. But I love listening to, I guess the way people put it, aside from emo chords, they also call it like it's literally like anime soundtracks, where it's like that kind of rock, like almost rock, but like an easygoing rock, where it's more like you see it as the soundtrack to like an anime or something like that. And I really absolutely kind of love that style, but I kind of listen to it to kind of be like every other person on a dating app. I kind of listen to everything, so I kind of go from like rock to jazz to blues to like Native Hawaiian music and that sort of thing. But is there anything that you would want to cover?
Oh, dude, I really wanna do. Do you know Pink Guy?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I wanna do Pink Guy.
Oh gosh. I kind of as a joke would want to do what's her name? What's the name? It's that person that does the flamingo song.
Oh god.
It's I've seen some it's like that meme song where people have memed that song to death, where it's like black, white, pink or blue, show off your natural hue, flamingo or something like that. I would love to do. I just want to do meme songs essentially, but I come from a manga, anime, and game background, so I kind of have to say that I'm into Vocaloid and shit. But don't consider me a weeb, everyone. I actually do listen to actual.
That is impossible. If you like Vocaloid, you are 100% a weeb.
No, but I tell people that like I actually listen to more than just Vocaloid. Like there are actual Japanese artists and different bands that I like that aren't just anime openings and endings and Vocaloid. Like there are actual some underground artists that like I said, like Trico, that I found that like no one else probably would have discovered it had I just not randomly found it. So I actually do like that, because I've had to differentiate people, and I've had to talk to them the differences between otaku versus a weeb versus like a hikikomori / neat, and having to like go into like the whole difference. So I always tell people, I'm like, okay, like I guess I would consider myself an otaku, but don't call me a weeb. I'm not like, because like I always consider weeb to the point of like, if you were, because otaku is more, I always consider them more just someone who's just into like anime, games, and manga and that sort of thing. And what's it called? A lot of them are, how do I put it? So an otaku can be like a neat or a hikikomori, but I'm trying to remember how I worded it, because like hikikomori is more like shut in. So like those are the people that like are just the people that are just staying at home, like recluse. Otaku, like you can still be a functioning member of society. Like you can go to your day job at the office, and then when you go back home, you just play video games and that sort of thing. And that's totally fine. A weeb is someone who is not from Japan, who is still about that culture, way too into it to the point that they it embodies their life, and they just are all about Japan and want to live Japan
Yeah.
or want to live their Japanese life. Which again, for me, I love everything. I just have studied Japanese language since I was younger, so I'm more likened to listening to that sort of media. But again, like I love listening to anything that comes from other languages and other cultures. Like I'm not just like, oh my god, anime, like please, I want to marry my waifu and have my body pillow and just like go and do all that stuff. And I'm just like, don't lump me in with those people. I'm not that. I'm a productive member of society. Please don't look at me like that. Don't judge me, because all my friends who, despite themselves being weebs, also have called me that, and I'm just like, don't you dare. It's an insult to me. I'm a functioning member of society. It's just, but it's so. I need to stop before I get myself deep into this hole of me really just making myself look like a Japanese fanboy. And then, so as far as kind of going back to the design, like, do you feel like cyberpunk or like Outrun and that sort of thing, did that kind of inspire your aesthetic taste? Like, as far as your cybernetic image, do you feel like was it just more like you just thought it was cool, or did you have some influence coming from the cyberpunk and retro wave scene?
Okay, so about that, I don't really have any influence from the cyberpunk or those synthwave, retrowave things, but I guess we have a little bit of influence on the mask for cyberpunk, but it's not really a cyberpunk design, So the main idea for the mask was to have I wanted to have emotions, through the mask. So the original idea was I wanted to have just an LED on my face, the girl from Love Life. So it's just like an LED you slap onto my face, and I will have mouth and eyes, emoji type of thing. But we kinda didn't do it because it's kinda it looked weird. So we took some other masks, and we used the Kitsune fox mask. I think it looks better.
It's just, again, I think it's just one of those things that I think it just fits very well with the aesthetic. So that's why I'm hoping for people that do that sort of fan art, I would hope maybe they can kind of include a little bit of that sort of cyberpunk futuristic samurai sword ninja-esque sort of look when they draw you, because I can definitely see as far as your outfit, your main outfit, that you can kind of fit in with that style. But other than that, I would just say that just how I guess you were designed, I think it's just very smart overall, and I think there's just so much potential behind it that I don't see as much with other people who are just like a high school student or something like that. And especially kind of the incorporation of your voice too, which hopefully again we'll see some covers from. Maybe we'll see you do an auto-tuned cover sometime soon. There's just, I guess, so much potential with your character design, I would say. And I think that's it's just really incredibly smart. So this one I have been looking forward to talking about. So you are very authentic. You truly give no fucks as far as kind of voicing your opinion, and even on your Twitter profile, you have to put a disclaimer that you are talking about profanity. So what was the decision in being more upfront about, your swearing or your not safe for work stuff, or your tweets, or your not safe for work memes? What was the decision in kind of doing that versus I guess being a clean-cut idol or entertainer?
I didn't want to just be like everyone else when I started. I talked to all of my friends, and I was just like, I'm gonna be a VTuber, and I will give no fucks. I will just be myself, and I will do whatever the fuck I want on Twitch, not on YouTube. I will stream on Twitch, and I will just say whatever. Even on Twitter, I'll just say whatever. But I do want people to keep in mind, just because I say fuck or I say like all of the other bad stuff doesn't mean that I'm like rude or toxic. I think that's like a lot of Indonesian. They all think I'm like rude because I swear all the time, right? And they all think I'm rude, but I am not rude. I'm just, what is wrong with me saying fuck whenever I'm angry? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not calling like some guy a fuckface. No, I'm just like saying fuck. This game makes me angry, you know. And I want to be able to say that.
However, if you do piss him off, he will call you a fuckface, and he's
Yeah,
gonna
I will.
claim that right now.
I will.
Do your friends, like a lot of your friends watch your stream, or like do they see that you kind of, well, I'm not that you swear all the time, but kind of giving that disclaimer to your friends, like do a lot of them watch what you do?
No.
It's like a separate life from that. It's basically like you don't bring it up to them, essentially.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, some of them know.
You're just like it's just one of those things where I guess that would be kind of a weird thing to bring up to someone, huh? It's kind of like a Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus moment where it's like, how do you talk to someone that you're living a double life and that you have all this other stuff going on? But that's okay. And then just so that way the people know, because not everyone follows your tweets. It just so happens every single time that I go on your Twitter, your tweets happen to be the first thing that pops up on my timeline.
Nice.
You're fine with people, I guess, making fan art and like people commenting regardless of whether you're a boy or girl or whatever gender, etc. Like you're fine with anything really, as long as it's tasteful. Yeah.
Yeah. I want everyone to have a good time on Twitter.
Yes. So all fanboys, fangirls, and whatever the gender neutral term is, get at him. he wants everything that you're offering, and he's willing to offer it to you. Now, whether those cybernetic enhancements go in other places, I have no idea. But if you pay him, if you go on Streamlabs and you donate a lot to him, or you send him a really enticing marshmallow, he'll probably answer it.
I will entertain you. Yeah. I answer all my marshmallows.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, because I was the one that sent the Tanuki one.
Yeah.
I was the one that sent that. So I do notice, like, because a lot of people will not answer, and I'm just like, yeah, you really truly give no fucks.
Because
okay,
why should I?
Well, I guess I've seen some people get monetized by saying fuck all the time, so there's weirder things in this life. Very, very weirder things.
Yeah, I rely on Streamlabs and my Twitch subscriptions rather than YouTube, so I don't really, I don't care if I get demonetized or I don't get money from YouTube. I get money from other places. It's fine.
Again, that's why people, if you want to get at my OnlyFans, you let me know. And then, again, just to kind of help me understand a little bit about where you come from, at least as far as like living in Indonesia. For us in Hawaii, again, I'm born and raised here, but it's a very, very, very high standard of living because a lot of it has been sold to a lot of tourists. So what is it like for Indonesia? Like, is it, quote unquote, easier to live there as far as like in terms of money or like a lot of food? Like, what do you feel like it's been? Because I believe you're born and raised in Indonesia, yes?
Yes. I am.
Like, what's the experience for you? That's a weird thing to ask, but
I think like my childhood was pretty normal. There's like nothing special or also nothing bad. But recently, I think Indonesia's become this really easy place to live in because we have a lot of technological advancements, sorta, and we have those. How do I explain this? Like Uber, Uber, but for motorbikes, so we can get around easily. And they also deliver food for us. Like it's everywhere, but especially in Indonesia, it's so convenient that I don't really have to go outside at all.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. So I was like, so like, are you like most other VTubers where you're kind of just mostly inside these days?
I am.
So
I'm just
so
inside.
quarantine and COVID-19 have really has not changed anything for your lifestyle, huh?
Nope, it did not change anything. I was just inside all day every day. Now I'm still inside all day every day. So it didn't change anything for me.
I guess for everyone who kind of maybe perhaps thought you were funny going out in public with a kitsune mask, I guess everyone now is looking at you as the smart one. Ahead of the trends before they're starting. That's just how KATSUki D rolls. But yeah, I mean, because again, you said like you can kind of make it without like having to be like Kizuna I level of success. So it's a lot more easier as far as like monetary value of you don't need like that much as far as like donations. Like you can at least make it generally. I mean, again, not that I don't want you to get a ton of donations, but you can at least make it without having to like get to that level of success of like
Yeah.
a million and having that much people send you money every day.
I mean, it does help if I get more, but Indonesia it's really cheap. Everything's really cheap here. Like food costs maybe $1, $2. It's so cheap.
What?
Yeah, that's for
I mean,
a full meal. That's for an
I
actual
shouldn't
meal.
for an actual. Okay, I shouldn't be surprised because I know Philippines were pretty cheap. We're pretty cheap people too. But but $1 for a meal?
Yep.
I'll have to go visit Indonesia one day, and then I guess I'll have to go visit Katsuki, and I'll probably vlog my adventures and put a what's it called, a sensor bar on Katsuki's face so you can't see that.
Hey,
So you
just
won't.
crack the mask on my face. Do it on After Effects.
Yeah, you will just you don't have any tattoos, right?
Nope.
Okay. I guess it's a lot easier for you to blend in with the rest of Indonesia, except just for having a kitsune mask. It's harder for me because I have tattoos, so any single time that people will see it, they'll know it's me. But it's a lot easier if you don't have any tattoos. But we'll keep that in mind, and maybe I'll do a fucking mukbang in Indonesia for like $20. We'll see.
You'd probably like get a food coma for $20.
Like how like what is like the what type of food do you guys have as far as like is it well quote unquote is it healthy or not healthy?
I wouldn't want to
In
say
your
it's not healthy, but it's definitely not 100% healthy. You know, like I eat baso. Baso costs only $1. It's some guy in a fucking like stall just like opens it up at night, and I just eat outside on the side of the road.
I guess the Philippines and Indonesia are kind of like similar to New York, where there's literally just people like offering $1 hot dogs on the side of the roads. That's how I imagine it. I'm assuming it's a lot more flavorful in Indonesia than anywhere else. So I'm just hoping that maybe one day I can travel, but like I have no idea what the heck I'd mukbang there. So if you have any ideas, you let me know. Because I don't know what to eat in plentiful amounts.
There's a lot of food here that I think you will enjoy. A lot of people enjoy. There's even the vegetarian food here is really nice. I'm no vegan. I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not a vegan, but I do love all of the food that does not have meat in it. It's so good.
For the people that don't know, because we'll see my friends and family know this, I was vegan and gluten free for 1 month, and it was I cried a lot of tears that month. I also lost a lot of weight that month, which was good for my stomach, but not good for my butt because I had a really great butt. But after I went vegan and gluten free, it just something happened. Something happened there, and I was very upset. And now I have to eat. Now I have to eat a lot more now and do a lot more squats so I can attract a mate. But yeah, I'm hoping one day I can visit, and then like just is it like as far as like quote unquote like vacation, like is it like relatively decent price to like come and visit?
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, aside from the plane ticket, at least. It's
and then
sorry.
Oh, and then like even to Jakarta where you are.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll talk about it after the podcast. We'll see. I'm like eventually I'm like I need more reasons and more people to visit around the world. So I mean, if Indonesia is I see it's gonna be a give and take because then now I'm gonna enjoy a lot of good food during the morning, and then I'm gonna have to be tempted to not want to go to a specific beach in green and swim in there in the afternoon, and then I'm gonna have to decide if I want to go out at night, or I
Yeah,
could just be like you, and not leave. I
not
guess
leave.
like just not leave,
Yeah,
the house, not leave the room. But
and
do you live by
you
yourself?
order everything online, and they will deliver to your door.
Like even with Amazon and everything, like everyone just gets it to their door.
Yeah.
Damn. Do you live by yourself? As far as like when you record, like is it easier for you, or do you have people that might hear what you're doing?
I do live by myself. I live in an apartment, but I don't have any roommates. I live alone.
I'm like, I would also want to say you're lucky, but also if I said that exact same sentence, my friends would kind of look at me like I'm kind of sad, and I'm like, oh, don't judge me for being alone, guys. I'll find a mate. I'll find a mate eventually. Once I get back to bodybuilding, maybe. But yeah, I mean, eventually, I'll try to make it out there and ghost hunt or whatever. And then eventually, I feel like there's like a joke that I feel like based on what you said about the amount of VTubers that are there, I feel like I could potentially run into, depending on the amount of people that I run into one day or the course of a few days, I could potentially run into like at least a good amount of the Indonesian VTuber community and not realize that I ran into them.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because it's just this whole underground society or community of people that pass by each other in Indonesia. They just wave hi to each other, and then you guys don't realize that you guys are online friends as VTubers. That's just how I imagine it. Where you just pass by Hana and you pass by everyone else, and you don't know that it's them, but then you just hear them. You accidentally hear them say like a quote from like their stream, and then you're like, I mean, I think it's you. And then you're like, hey, so-and-so, remember when I beat you in 100% orange? That sort of thing.
I mean,
And then
that
they're like,
could probably happen. I can imagine that happening. And like, it's, yeah, I can imagine that happening, sort of.
oh gosh. Such a huge community of you guys. Eventually, I feel like you guys are just going to take over the whole world with the VTuber community. So I would just, for anyone that's a Japanese or English VTuber, please do be careful because they're on the rise, and KATSUKi will be on your ass.
I will be on that ass. Your ass is mine.
Well, I mean, you don't need to ask for mine, but it's nice to always have. But it's nice to always have consent. So now that we're kind of closing it out, is there any? I know you've kind of talked about it a bit on Twitter, but are there any future projects or future collaborations that you would want to shout out, talk about with certain VTubers or certain projects or your personal stuff? Anything you want to mention?
Right, so I'm actually working with Evelyn, Sora, and Yuji to create a Discord server for VTubers. It's mostly for indie VTubers who want to learn, how to improve their content, how to be better VTuber, better content creator, better streamers, or even like better, singer or cover creator. Yeah, it's a Discord server for indie VTubers called Virtual. It's VIR and then the number 2 and then ALL. So it's a server for every indie VTuber, whether you're big or small. We want you in the server, and we want everyone to share, their experiences, share their knowledge. Let's learn from each other, all of that stuff. Yeah, we've been working on that for a while now.
And then, what can, specifically from you, what would you feel that you can teach to new people?
Oh, I can.
Or if they have a one-on-one session with KATSUKi Senpai, what will they learn?
They'd probably learn how to be dumb but not be totally stupid at the same time. And they will learn how to be a
Swear on
wizard
Twitter.
on OBS.
I feel like you're calling me out now. Oh, I just sync it up to one source, and I'm like, okay, let's start recording, and then I'm good, and then I'm
no.
like, oh, I'm like, and then I remember your however long OBS video stream, and I'm like, oh,
That's actually
he's
just the
probably
basics. That is still the basics. That is still like everything, every source in one scene. There's still a lot more stuff going on.
yeah, that's kind of what I figure. Even having to work with .mkv files has been new for me, so that's been kind of a transition. And then do you feel like there are any collabs, or I don't know if there's stuff that you want to keep secret or that you feel like is public? Like, is there anything you feel like you're kind of working towards or want to work towards?
I do really want to collab with more, agency YouTubers like Niji Sanji or Hololive in Indonesia. I think they're all good people. I am friends with some of them, and I do want to collab with them. But I will take my time. I don't want to rush it because I know like probably they'll probably check if I'm worthy enough. Yeah, I don't want to rush it, but I do want to collab with a bunch of them, and I want to collab with more indie VTubers, whether you're big or small. Let's play games together, or let's do something together.
You think like those companies check out your Twitter and they're like, yeah, maybe we'll see what happens.
They probably do.
They just see tweets where they're just like, man, it's real horny hours, and oh gosh, I fell asleep longer than I thought I would, and they're like, yeah, he's the one we wanna. He seems like a cool. But at the same time, I guess if I was ever streaming like that, I guess I'd probably be the same, because my sleeping hours are not consistent because I'm always editing, so I'm always like, yeah, I guess if I had like a stream schedule and then I was kind of really tired, I guess I'd kind of push it off too and be like, hey guys, I just need like 2 hours of sleep. Can you are you guys fine with waiting 2 more hours? I think you guys are fine with waiting 2 more hours, right? Okay, I'm just gonna tweet and you guys are gonna be fine with it. I'll see you guys later. Just let me rest my eyes for a little bit more. Oh gosh. But yeah, I mean, as far as that, is there any other messages either to, regardless of whether you're fans or also, actually kind of speaking of that, is there anything that you would want to possibly maybe include like your fans at some point for some kind of game?
Oh yeah, definitely. I want to have like viewer games and subscriber games where I play with my viewers or subscribers. I haven't found the perfect game for it. I don't want to just play Scribble or like Jackbox. I want to play something more hands-on, I guess. Yeah, I am planning on doing that.
Yeah, because I eventually, we've talked about it, I kind of do eventually want to join in because I'm starting to record a bit more Game Stupid, because I don't have a gaming laptop, I can't do stuff like Rainbow Six Siege and stuff. That it is a very old laptop that I'm using right now. I'm still surprised that it's even to this day still alive, but that's why I'm kind of having to do all these like older free games or stuff like that, so unfortunately I can't, but hopefully we can like see what we can get together. But yeah, it would be cool to like, I guess I've seen some people where I think PUBG before had an option where I guess it could be like a one person is like alive and then the rest of them are zombies or something like that, and then some streamers did it where it's like, oh, them versus 99 of their viewers like all coming at them together at once. So maybe something like that where you can kind of get a bunch of people all together, or maybe you can all just get together and human fall flat and KATSUki can just laugh at everyone for how bad they are at playing the game. Like, being a gorilla at the edge of the level. But I'm hoping eventually like more people will see a bit more of VTuber stuff. I think it's the only way I can describe it is it's a rabbit hole. Like, it's one of those things that you just go head deep into and you can't really get out of it.
Yep.
So I'm hoping more people see what they do, and especially feel for you. I know we've talked about it before, how maybe you want to do more stuff in English. That I think, especially with your not like I wouldn't call what you do rudeness, but I genuinely would say like you're one of the more authentic ones. So I would say like more of a Western audience can definitely resonate with that. So I'm hoping more people who kind of stream or kind of watch it from the people who are going to see this on YouTube and whatever that are in the West. Hopefully, a lot more people can appreciate the fact that you're unapologetically yourself, and I think that's something to be respected. And also, you have a lot of skills to back up all of the shit that you should talk for other people. So it's a glorious thing to watch on stream, and hopefully more people can see that, because I would like for more people to see that, and hopefully, I mean, no promises, but we'll see if Kizuna I ever watches this, and maybe I can like score a deal with one of the Kizuna Eyes to like see you and like play with you. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see what happens. But in any case, thanks everyone for listening to the Lo-Fi Lounging podcast that now actually has a name, because I didn't mention it in the first one. So I'm gonna be signing off. This has been KATSUKi D. He is an Indonesian VTuber, and we are both gonna, I don't know, I guess go on Twitter and really just enjoy real horny hours, I guess. So
Yeah.
bye everyone.
Bye.
Enjoy.
Bye bye.
See you later.